That's obvious. And those who put it there should tell us how it got there and why it got there.
Professor, how does this... Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, this is energetic materials. And if I may finish the thermite discussion.
Yes.
Because thermite is what I told you before. Thermite is a special variety of thermite in which you put sulfur in. And it has the ability to lower the melting point of steel. So if you put sulfur in, the obvious purpose is to use the heat developed to melt steel. And I think it's very obvious that this is what happened in the towers, where you could see molten metal pouring out.
Stay there, Professor. Professor Harrit, Niels Harrit, please stay with us. We'll give out any websites or other key places where folks can read your paper. We really appreciate you joining us. Back after this quick break. We've got you till 45 after, sir. Infowars.com. Hope you are listening to what you're hearing here. The good old folks at New Silver Solution. And the website is supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. This is something that kills bacteria, viruses, you name it, well documented. They've got it down to a super small nano-sized particle. Supernaturalsilver.com. Check them out at Infowars.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. There's been a lot of new developments in the swine flu hoax. It's pretty much sure now that it's a hoax. If we start seeing a bunch of deaths early this next week, then still, I mean, the regular flu kills a lot more than that. All this grandstanding, all of this, it's a big distraction from other issues, like the one we're covering now with Professor Niels Harrit, just an amazing individual, wrote a scientific paper with 8 other authors titled Active Thermetic Material Discovered in Dust at the 9/11 World Trade Center. Professor, before we go any further in this segment and the next with you, are there any particular websites? I mean, I know globalresearch.ca has your paper posted. I know that the Journal of Open Chemical Physics journal has it posted. Do you have a personal page or a site you'd like to tell people about?
No, not really. I'm sorry.
No, that's great. No. I was just, just offering. Now, explain to us, how did you get interested in this to research it and look at it?
Well, I got hooked on the 9/11 story when I saw Building 7 coming down. And this was the revelation, like, I think it was 2.5 years ago. But accidentally, I saw Building 7 going down on a video disc my wife had gotten. And from that moment on, there has been no way back. It's as simple as that. When you as a scientist see Building 7 going down, you say, what? And then I had to push the button again and say, what? And I pushed the button 10 times. And my jaw was hanging, So, and from that moment, if you're a decent person, there's no way back. You cannot lie to yourself and say, I haven't seen this. And you wonder, of course, as a scientist, why and how does this happen? Because there's a phenomenon. It is unexplainable on the background of the official conspiracy theory. And I had never heard about Building 7 before. That in itself was an eye-opener. What is this? And this was Stephen E. Jones. The lecture he first gave on Brigham Young University.
Yes.
The Ethics Center there. That was that lecture. This was the first time the situation at all caught my attention. And from that moment on, as I told you, there's been no way back, because I was naive enough to say that if somebody stands up on a soapbox and tells the truth, it would run by itself. But during the next month, I found out that this was not the case.
Yeah, national news.
I've been kind of hooked and sucked even more into it, yeah.
And then you find out more and more, like BBC reported the Tower 7 had fallen before it fell, and they reported exactly how it fell, and so did CNN. Yeah. And then we found out they were fed a Reuters report of false scripting, and then you just add the evidence on that. But now you've gotten samples tested it. It has this in it. I'm sure you've seen, since you've been researching, the fact that NIST happens to have all these explosive thermite experts working in it, and they're the people, it seems, covering up 9/11. I wonder why they're doing that.
Well, there's an excellent paper by Kevin Ryan on these relationships between different people and different laboratories and NIST. But what I was pretty fast sucked into the science aspect of World Trade Center, and at some point felt the commitment as a scientist to take care of that. So maybe I think probably the only person in Denmark who has actually read the NIST reports.
Yeah, you are sticking with that, and we're going to do a final segment. We're about to break and just come back for 10 more minutes with you. I'm going to cover the flu, but Professor, we appreciate your courage. You've been on national television now in the Netherlands. The media is giving you attention. Other peer-reviewed journals are doing similar studies, and the findings are, this was going on. What type of response are you getting from people in Europe? I know that I've seen polls where the majority of people in Europe think it was an inside job.
Actually, it is boiling. It's growing rapidly day by day. And it's true, I've been on national television, and there are two clips. Actually, one of them has been posted on YouTube and seen by many people, I realize. And the other one will be coming up very shortly, I can announce.
Oh, good. Well, stay there, Professor. We've got Niels Harrit, professor at the Department of Chemistry, University of Copenhagen for 37 years, joining us. Quick break. That was a short segment. I'll come back with you, sir, talk about whatever you wish. But what is the establishment going to do as it comes out that those towers were blown sky high? Now, what's going to happen? Where's all this going? Stay with us. All right. Huge new developments on the flu front coming up when our guest leaves us here in a few minutes. But Niels Harrit, a professor over in the Netherlands, my parents' favorite place to visit, by the way, in Europe. I've never been there, but I've got to get over there sometime. Over there with all the great folks. But okay, Professor. I mean, in closing, where would you like to see this investigation go now? Because there's other scientists, other engineers doing the same studies, finding the same thing over and over again. No way this should have been there. We originally had the thermite hypothesis by Stephen Jones because of the molten metal pouring out of the sides, because of the oxidization, the sulfidation of the steel. Then he found the little metal spheres that had the exact makeup of a thermite reaction. And then he tested thermate. It had that reaction. And now you've done separate studies. As more and more of this comes out and then it gets peer-reviewed, what is the establishment going to do?
Well, hopefully we'll get the investigation we have all been asking for a long time. And I appreciate, of course, the news value of this investigation. But basically, we're just confirming what has been obvious for a long, long time. As some of us know, that the 3 skyscrapers in New York were demolished intentionally on September 11, 2001. And hopefully, I'm sure, absolutely, I'm certain, I can feel it, that those who know this is growing by vast numbers every day, thousands of people every day. So when we reach critical mass, it will what you call it, provoke an investigation.
Unless, well, folks are waking up quicker to this than they did JFK. That took 20 years to get a majority. Now it's over 90% in the
we
average.
We can't wait for that.
I was about to say, go ahead.
We have to restore, first of all, the power of the press as an independent institution in our democracy. This is the most important thing, to restore the press. And before this is done, we cannot solve the even larger issues at hand.
I agree with you. I agree, Professor. Yeah. We've got to have the info war. We've got to have the alternative media and the people's voice to tell the truth to ever counter this. That's what we're trying to build here, and we're starting to win that fight. That's why Burma's just walked up and showed me 3 more hit pieces on me today. They are coming after us big time. So, folks, pray for us. We're in the thick of the storm here. And speaking of that, Professor, have you gotten any heat from the university or any threats from anybody from what you're doing?
No, not really. I mean, the situation with the university was settled almost a year ago in a situation where I actually had the opportunity to lay down the facts for my colleagues, and they respect that. Of course. So no, that is not a problem, and no real threats, no harassment, but I have got, I don't know how many emails since this paper come up, and they are all supportive. It's so nice. Let me get this opportunity to whoever has sent me an email to thank.